What's going on, everyone? Tanner Poppitt here at Madrost and Poppitt's Corner. And if you are looking for the best in physical media, make sure to go check out Bionic Records in Cypress, California. They have been in operation since 1988 and offer a wide variety of musical styles, whether it be punk, jazz, metal, rock, anything your heart desires. Go check out Bionic Records in Cypress, California. Go hit up Mike. Heck, tell him I sent you. Bionic Records, Cypress, California. What's going on, everyone? Welcome. Hey, Jarvis, you want to join us real quick? Okay, fuck it. Put on the headphones and turn the microphone on. Well, okay,
Don't take those, Jarvis. Those are mine.
Those are Milano's.
Yeah, you're good.
No.
Well, we tried to get you last time, but you bombed on us, so we got you here today.
Relieve the pressure on me to say interesting stuff.
You got to turn it on. There's a dummy button. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
There he is.
There we go.
Hey.
All right. So we got two special guests I'm really excited for. Mr. Zach Friedberg, of course. I haven't seen him in ages. How you doing, man?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing, Tanner?
I'm doing well, my friend. And then Mr. Jarvis Leatherby. What's going on, dude?
Hello, man. Doing good. Pandemicing here at an event for the first time in a long time. That's been cool. It's cool to be here next to my old buddy Zach. We go way back. Not a lot of people know that, but Zach was a former lighting guy for Night Demon. He did the Carcass tour with us, and he also did merch and did the lights for our live album, Live Darkness, in Cleveland. He was at that show.
I did lights.
You can't see the lights on the live album.
Way to go, Zach.
And I did lights for Sirt's Ungel's comeback show.
You did.
At Ventura Theater.
That was an interesting one. But,
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Then Tanner, good to see you.
Good to see you too,
been a long time. I think the last time I saw you was at the Murder in the Front Row premiere in San Francisco.
Correct.
I think so.
That's correct.
So that was quite a while ago.
Yeah, absolutely. That was with Razor Radio.
Yeah.
How you been, man?
Good. I've been living in Ireland half the time, split my time between there and California. My girlfriend's from Ireland. Night Demon's recording a new record. Sirith Ungel's going to do probably the final record. Satan's in the studio. Midnight's got a new record coming out, and I'm just naming all the bands I manage here. Sorry.
Yeah,
he's naming all the new wave of British heavy metal bands.
He's naming Iron Grip's roster.
Yeah. But yeah, I got a label, Iron Grip Records, and got doing a ton of old school reissues on that, and did the last Haunt record, gonna do their new one too. Yeah, man, it's heavy metal all the time.
Bewitcher have anything new coming up?
Bewitcher just put out a record this last spring, so they're kind of just in the same boat as all these bands. It's like, how much music can you release when you can't go on the road, right? So it's like, I think a lot of people are just stockpiling stuff and kind of waiting for that.
Now let me ask you, Jarvis, this. I noticed that obviously you have, I don't know how you have the free time to do anything anymore with all the fucking bands you mentioned, but one of the things that I love that you did, and I don't know if you still do these, was you would literally just walk around and have your phone and do a live stream or something and have like a motivational speech every time.
Yeah. So I did during the pandemic, I did this thing called Metal Monday Motivational. And, it was just, there was so much negativity going on, especially in our scene. And I was just kind of like, look, if I could just spread some kind of positive message, I think it would kind of help some people. And then I kind of just went through like, I hate people that, first of all, it's hard to tell people what to do. You probably shouldn't, but I would test things myself. So what I would do was like, kind of practice what I preach. So I would be like, hey, here's a good time management method. And I go, well, I'm going to experiment with this for a month. And here's my progress on video. Here's how it goes. And it works or it doesn't, or like, meditation, all kinds of crystal Twinkie shit. A lot of people liked it, but the funny thing is, like, I realize on social media these days, if you have a positive message, it's really hard to get some traction. Once you start talking shit about somebody, it's like flies on shit, like everybody is just like, it's it's something about, I guess that's why there's no nightly good news show. You know what I'm saying? We're kind of drawn to this, these things that scare us. And
well, do you think that all the social media platforms kind of control that though, and they want that negativity?
I'm not going to go that deep because I really don't know.
I'm sure it is.
You're in a thrash band, so it's time. You're the guy who talks about stuff.
That's
like
right.
That, you know, like yeah. So that's, you know, I don't know enough to say I could conspiracy theorize about it and probably be right. But I just don't know enough to have an opinion about it. I just know that I see people engage in things, and I see what they engage in, and I see what they don't. You know.
And let me ask you real quick before we get into the Morbid Eclipse venture here.
Yes,
with Night Demon, where are you guys at in terms of I guess a touring cycle? Because and with this in mind, because you guys toured so much, I kind of want to know what has kind of changed due to the pandemic with touring for you, for a band of your stature.
So we've rescheduled tours about 3 times during the pandemic, but we never announced anything, which that was my goal because I saw the writing on the wall. I saw that things were going to be rescheduled. A lot of people didn't. I think a lot of promoters were trying to get pre-sales, you know, so they keep pushing things back and re-announcing. We just didn't want to do that because now it's like things happen so quickly. It's like you kind of always feel like I already went to that show, you know, right? We've got all of 2022 rebooked. We got about 7 months of touring, and we hope it happens. But what it's looking like now is like a lot of venues have closed, but a lot of new ones are opening too, which is nice. I think that stronger touring packages are where it's at now. People are really trying to group together the strongest package because everybody's going up against each other. So we're going to go from no shows to like you're going to have 3 options a night.
But that was like that before though. So what's the difference then between then
because
and now?
Okay, you had a bunch of older bands retiring, and now that everybody's been sidelined, they're like, hey, I think I want to play again. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck my warehouse job. Like, I've been playing guitar, right? Like, so now it's like, fuck, it's just, it's so stacked. We're booking so far. I'm booking summer 2023 right now.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
For all the bands that you had mentioned?
Yeah, for festivals and stuff like that. So it's
is there an attendee a difference now? Is there going to be like everything's cut in half?
I don't think that was talk, but like I don't think that venues can perform that way.
Survive or whatever.
I was in Germany last month and saw some of their first shows back, and there was vaccine and mask mandates and stuff. But once people are in, all that shit goes out the window. You can't police that stuff, even in Germany, man. The fucking police state of them all, you know. So it's all good, dude. We're human beings, and everybody's it's just gonna bounce back. I mean, that's just it's gonna happen that way, you know. So
now, Zach, going off of over to your journey here, and where are you at with musically speaking? I know not a lot of people have heard from you since the radio days of us. So where are you at in terms of like?
I'll tell you, I'm listening to a lot more music than I'm playing. I'll tell you that. We were slowing down a little bit because of some health issues, the band members, right before the whole pandemic world took over. And as some people know, Andy Hicks is actually playing guitar in a band called Stygian Crowned, which has been getting a lot of great traction. Speaking of, pandemic impacting things, they had all kinds of awesome festivals booked overseas.
Yeah, they did.
Everything's been just kicked out. So they're doing a lot. They've got a new album about to come out. But basically, we just tabled Morbid Eclipse for the time being. Ben actually went back to the year 300,244
AD.
That would be present temporal era on our timeline. So he's not around right now, but we do have, we've been talking about getting the band back together. I've got a lot of new music. It's just hasn't been played. And I'm just waiting till maybe we have an opportunity to do some shows. So
it's not an easy band. It's not an easy band to get back together, man.
We have got all these different timelines,
No. I'm talking about the
lights and lasers and all that stuff.
It's like,
it was every show. We're like, okay, how many people can I get to wear a lab coat and be here? and I got to get, a high priestess out here to help us with the ritual and all that. I was thinking of coming back and doing Morbid Eclipse Light.
I got my brain fried at the complex in Glendale. Yeah.
That was a loud show. That was fun. Yeah.
But even before the pandemic, you guys were kind of doing nothing. So like, what was happening even pre-pandemic?
Well, we put an EP out, and it's just basically we weren't playing shows, we weren't promoting it, and then we just basically stopped. We just tabled it. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, my time has been consumed by my art career.
Well, how is that going? Because, are you doing more, what is it? Galleries and
absolutely. So just before the pandemic struck, I guess that's what we call it, this whole era, this whole weird,
I call it the plague.
The plague. I had my first international solo exhibit in the Philippines. And that was a solo exhibit with all new paintings. Also, we did a designer toy launch with that. And it was sold out the weekend. It actually sold out the day before the show opened. So it was just incredible going out to the Philippines, having that happen. And then following up on that, I just had a show at a gallery in LA, sold out. It's been real positive with the art stuff. I've got my first show in China happening right now. So that opens in November. I've got 8 paintings out in Shanghai. So I've just been spending basically all of my time that I can. I'm working on the artwork and painting and everything. Unlike an album, you guys know this, you need a lot of moving pieces to come together in order to do something with it.
But you're a solo artist through and through.
Well, yeah, always how it's been. You're always driving it, but at least, with the artwork, I can see, concept to execution without needing to turn any attention.
No, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
How much of that work gets picked up in other countries?
So the art, it's really, this will be my second international show. So yeah,
I was at the first gallery showing in LA.
Oh yeah, that was my first solo.
And then I never returned. I'm like the first album guy. Like, no, after Kill 'Em All, I was not a Zach. I'm more like no Life Till Leather. Kill 'Em All is too commercial for me.
That's right. Yeah.
No Dave Mustaine, no Metallica.
Hey, but one thing, when we were on the road, 2016, Zach told me about this, this art thing. And, I'm not going to say, I would never doubt the man, but like, he was like, I'm going to go for it. He's like, I'm just going to fucking go for it. I'm going to really do this. And, he's done it.
I think
he's done it. Like, I gotta give it to him. Like he's committed to it. And life offers us a strange bargain. If you have a definite chief aim and you can focus on, we all want to do all these different things in our lives, but really, if you can bring it down to one thing and really just with laser focus, you can, there may be some areas of your life that may suffer because of that, but a well-chosen passion that you sell at can cover a lot of fucking bases, and he's done that.
Well, it's a good thing you point that out. I think that's all completely true. And also just seeing your laser focus when it comes to Night Demon and seeing what you were able to pull off. And there's a lot of people who are dreaming of the same thing. You had the songs, but you also had that laser focus. And,
well, I'll tell you what, though, something I still struggle with, too.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't, all the other bands I mentioned that I'm involved with, if I threw them to the side, Night Demon would be like Metallica.
Sure.
So
I don't doubt it.
Yeah. And so I'm headed that way. So fuck you, bands. No,
it's very level-headed though to be participating in a lot of different bands and
it's all. I never wanted to be a band manager or have a label. I saw greatness in these bands, and they needed something. Like they had no clue what to do with this stuff. So it was almost, I was just in the right place at the right time.
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned that because these are older bands. You would think that they would have more.
Some of them,
some newer bands.
But the first band I ever took on was Visigoth, and like I have Visigoth and Midnight too. But
true.
But I feel the younger bands that I'm involved with are also legacy acts. I feel like they have their place in heavy metal history, and they've already secured it.
I think all of us bands have, to be honest with you. Now, one aspect with you, Jarvis, is I want to go back to your live record because I didn't really hear a whole lot of talk about it, and I'm just kind of curious.
It was number 43 on the charts.
Well,
So
oh,
somebody was talking about it.
He's calling me out right now.
Somebody was talking about it. Yeah.
But well, I'm just kind of curious how live really was that record.
80%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just overdubs.
I was there. It looked completely live to me.
Well, it sounds incredible, and I just
Thank
was
you.
just curious how much of that is true.
Well,
live.
you know what we did was we did the Danzig thing. I went to the Misfits reunion shows when the first round, and we had the what it was.
I bumped into you.
Yeah.
I bumped into you at the show.
Dude, that's like so weird how things work. But like, so we're like, okay, hey, this cell phone thing is working pretty good. You know, put the cell phone in the pouch.
Mhm.
So we implemented the same thing in Cleveland or Pitt, but you know, there was fucking 800 people there. It's like but we really locked it down. We hired a bunch of house photographers. We have actually, we never did a live video. So we didn't allow any filming, any taping, any audio. We have 10 camera angles. We have the full show. So like we've fully edited it for one day that will come out. But like we put a lot of mics in the audience. We did a shit ton of prep. We even had a backup rig, like with double mic everything, you know, looked like one of those old Sabbath concerts, you know, like that's why I always sang with the two mics because one was going to recording, you know. So and we really just captured the room, and that's what was important, you know. And look, we went to a place where we have such a fucking rabid fan base, and a lot of people flew in from all over the world. We told people ahead of time this is for a live record, and we only have one shot, so that's why it's 80%. There's a couple things that I'm like, yeah, no, we got to fix that. It was hard because we did put so many mics in the room. There was shit that we couldn't fix because it's like there's just, what are you gonna do? Just duck the audience there? No, you know.
And it's kind of cool that it's a triple fucking vinyl too. It's not a double live album; it's a triple live album, right?
Yeah.
So with all those resources, how long does it take to produce that album?
You know, it just depends how much time you put into it. I mean, like the recording is one day, editing and everything else. I mean, we had a lot of touring going on, so it took us a while. I think we taped it early December of 2017, and it came out August of 2018. Peaked at number 43 on the charts.
Awesome. And I appreciate you calling me out on my bullshit. But so let's talk about, because we're at the San Diego Metal Swapmeet right now, and I'm kind of curious how this year's been different for you personally, and what you're expecting later on when you specifically play, and then obviously you're vending here. So what are you guys expecting from this year's San Diego Metal Swapmeet that's different?
Well, for me personally, we performed the last year that this event happened. They used to have one band. It was us. It was great. We made our shit look good. It sounded good. It was successful. They asked us to come back this year to do a signing session. So I'm expecting a Spinal Tap moment. You know, I mean, thank God for Germany, or I wouldn't have a career. But you know, it's California. It's like, oh, everybody knows. Oh, there's Jarvis. Like, yeah, I'm not even gonna say hi to him. You know, like so. But we're here to represent. It's the first time the band is there in 12 months physically. So like, it's pretty cool. We have a booth. We've got tons of merch. All the bands that I manage in my label, I've got shit over there. So I'm just kind of, and I've got shit for super cheap. We're doing like $15 t-shirts, like $10 tapes and CDs, and like cheap vinyl. And like, we just want people to have the shit. We're not here to compete, and like, you know, we're just here to add to it. But yeah, I ran into Zach, first guy I saw this morning. We got out of the car. Oh yeah, he's got much more experience here. He could probably shed a better light.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I've been vending at the San Diego Metal Swapmeet since the second year they did it. So the first time it was at the Queen Bee, you know, in North Park. I only missed, you know, just a couple of the years recently, and then obviously crazy pandemic stuff. But I'm back this year. The difference is previously I ran a distro. I released a bunch of records for bands and everything, so I always had a lot of my own stuff. I had a whole bunch of merchandise from doing trades. I've cleared a lot of that stuff out. So I'm actually moving a lot of stuff from my own personal records and collection that I just don't need anymore, don't want. So my loss is everyone else's gain. Yeah, just unloading it. But I unloaded like half my stuff to just vendors before it started.
Really?
People just started coming up,
Are
taking
you serious?
through. Yeah, people putting out like 15 records at a time. I'm like, yeah, that's $10,
I was doing
$20,
that.
$10.
Yeah.
You didn't be like, oh, I want that. Actually, I don't.
Hang on, I need to keep
Yeah,
that
yeah,
actually
yeah,
now.
yeah.
These guys want to go back with their
Yeah.
cars empty. Is what?
Oh,
That's what I
Oh,
want.
yeah, I told-
absolutely, yeah.
I told-
so do we.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I told my assistant that. I said, because we just packed the car to the brim, and I said, hey, we're coming home with a light load. you
Okay,
know?
let me ask you this, Jarvis.
yeah.
When is the point where you actually need a fucking assistant
Dude,
being a metal band?
I have a
Because that-
full I have
like,
a
what
full
is-
I have a full-time assistant, and she
like
I
That's-
can't live without it. I mean, like I for the first 6 months of this year I lived in Ireland, and so I need somebody at my warehouse shipping stuff out, and I need somebody doing all the social media. I don't touch that stuff, just there's administrative work, man. I mean, like, just for a band playing one festival, it's just crazy, dude. Like, your agents will only do so much, and it's like running a management company and a label, and like we have a whole, I've got a 2,500 square foot warehouse in Ventura, and like I've got headquarters for Night Demon in Sirathonga. We have a weekly podcast. I mean, like, it's like there's a lot of work to be done, man, and like I actually need more help. So
like
I'm looking.
you're
I'm
like a
looking.
corporation almost. The
We are
Jarvis
literally
Corporation.
a corporation. Yeah.
If you
Amazing.
didn't have an assistant, how hard would this all?
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Like, I started on my own, and then things grow, right? And like you get to a point where like I'm not gonna have somebody work for me and then have nothing for them to do, right? So
It's amazing, and they have a job for life now, as long as you're still living. So
Yeah. There's that.
well, gentlemen, I really want to thank you for stopping by and
Yeah,
hanging with
thank
me.
you,
Really,
guys.
Yeah.
do
Hey, sorry
appreciate
for
it.
hijacking your interview here.
No,
No,
This has been
it's
awesome,
absolutely
so
great.
I
I wanted to find out what was going on with you anyway.
Yeah,
so
there
hey,
you go.
I got
Absolutely.
caught up. I didn't have to ask.
That's
a question
crazy that
either.
you guys have a long history.
Oh yeah, no. Dude, Zach is one of the first people to ever see my band play and like come up to me actually and not be too cool for school and go, dude, I love what you're doing. I love how you're bringing production into a small. He's like, I'm trying to do the same. So we started helping each other out, and here we are.
Love
I'm always down for the lab coat if you are.
Oh
still
yeah. All
offering
right.
that
When we
up.
get back, back to the stage, absolutely.
It's awesome. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you for stopping by Poppitt's Corner, and I know Night Demon has their podcast, so make sure to go check that out as
Night
well.
Demon Heavy Metal Podcast, and also I'm looking for a label manager, but I'm looking for kind of like a hybrid person who knows about the record industry and also somebody who can do art, like not necessarily a good drawer, but digital art, social media layouts, kind of. So if anybody out there apply for the job,
We're gonna hit you up.
Yeah, you can find me. Just look up Jarvis and you'll find me.
That's only
I'm
one.
one of the only ones.
There's only one.
And Zach, where can people find your art before we go?
Oh yeah, you can find me on the social media and on the websites and all that stuff. Just Spectacular.
At Spectacular.
Yeah, spectacular, but a Z instead of a T. That's all.
Outstanding.
Here's some
Outstanding.
stickers, guys.
Cool. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you obviously for coming on again, and enjoy the rest of the San Diego Metal Swapmeet.